When it was first announced that they were going to be doing another version of It based on the Stephen King novel, I gave it a resounding meh. I don't really care for the horror genre that much, although lately I've been surprised by how good the films have been. There wasn't really any big names attached to this, which, don't get me wrong, that's not always a bad thing. It's just nothing was stirring my interest at this point. Stephen King movies don't have a great track record outside of Stand By Me and Shawshank Redemption. For the most part, we don't get very good movies. I was completely impressed by this from beginning to end, and I'm excited for more in this franchise that I'm sure they're going to make. So we have a director that has like one film notch under his belt with Mama, which I didn't see. I'm not sure if it's good. You have a set of childhood actors who are relatively unknown outside of the quirky kid from Stranger Things who's awesome here, like he is there. And the last time we had this movie was in 1990. I realize it's a cult classic at this point. I hated it. I just recently watched it for the first time, did not get impressed at all. I had seen bits and pieces in the past, but I finally sat down for this 3-hour event and nothing tickled my fancy, you could say. I don't know why you would say that, but you could say that. People haven't said that since 1945. Quick note for subscribers out there, I will be doing a Movie Feuds episode of the 1990 versus the 2017 It. Look for that this weekend, early next week. It depends on how much my family wants to be around me. I have a laundry list of things this film does right, and I'm going to break them down for you toot sweet. Not actually sure what toot sweet means. I'm a little upset I even used it or have heard it uttered before, but I'm not going to cut it out of editing. I said it, so it's going to be heard. I'm gonna bite that bullet. First off, we have the time period set in the late 80s. I love the 80s because it was so shitty. I love the look of everything, how crappy everything is, but I did like how simplistic that time period felt. I grew up in the 80s. I would love to relive that magical time, biking around throughout the town, not a care in the world, going through sewer systems, which I actually did. I couldn't imagine doing that today. I mean, I'm sure it would be the same outcome. I would just smell a lot and there'd be rats running around, but it's a different time we live in. Now if a kid went down in the sewers, he'd have his stupid flashlight on his phone, and he would be taking Instagram photos and then putting like mouse ears on himself, and he'd be like, I'm in the sewer! Not only is the town of Derry a fantastic setting, but the shadow, the lighting, the color grading, everything works so damn well. I love seeing the clown in the sewers, creepy as all hell. Shadow bouncing off him appropriately, the makeup is perfect. He is creepy as fuck. Skarsgård does a great job, and the man is a sight to see outside of this flick. So it was a great accomplishment by the makeup artist to make him look disturbing, and good job on him. Great performance. He creeped the hell out of me at times. That was buck teeth. Really set the stage for what was to come. We've been seeing a lot more of these kids being kids, coming of age stories coming out lately, and I love it. It takes me back to the Sandlots, takes me back to the Goonies, the Stand By Me's of the world, appropriately Stand By Me, same author. We saw it with Stranger Things recently, we saw it with It Follows, and here we are again. There's a good portion of this movie dedicated to these boys and girl just bumming around, having fun, swimming, biking, doing all the things kids do. And then you have the bullies, who are extremely over the top. There's no question about that, even more so than the 90s version. It's a tough posse. They have some skeletons in their closet, they have some issues, but the whole town of Derry has skeletons in their closet, and I thought they did a good job showcasing that without really hitting you over the head with the story and the plot. That could also be considered a hang-up I have too, and a small issue. I am a fan of not letting the monster entirely out of the closet. You want to keep some mystery there. You want to keep it a little bit hidden, so you have to use your brain and really kind of think of the worst possible scenario. However, here it is a little too vague still. We get backstory, we get history of the townspeople before in the 40s, the 30s, and whatnot, and what happened, but it doesn't really add up at the end. It's like, okay, why did this thing, It, go after one set of people then, and now he's only focused on children now? What happened? What's the disconnect over these 27 years gaps or 30-year gap that has changed its mind? And that's never really taken any further. I did, however, have enough interest to Google it afterwards because I think it's much more pronounced in the book, and holy fuck. There is a history there that could be spun into its own movie altogether, and maybe they will do a prequel of sorts where you find out where it is from, and it's quite amazing. fucking insane, actually, and I loved it. I loved reading about it just for a couple minutes. It makes me want to pick up the book and read, which of course I won't, because reading's for smart people and people that have aspirations and goals and dreams and don't want to have a YouTube channel where they review movies and listen to their wife upstairs talking on the phone while I'm trying to get a review done. We have a potential $2 episode. That's food on the table. That's food on the table for this family, and you're talking on the phone, chit-chatting while I'm trying to do an It review. Not listening. Just probably talking to Greg again. I'm all over the place. It's hard for me to stay structured. That's why this show's called Adam Rants and not Adam Reviews or something more pronounced, because I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. That's what movie feuds are for, where I script things out. This is just off the cuff. Just my initial thoughts after seeing the flick. And they're good thoughts. They're all good. The movie runs about 2 hours, and it's over 2, which normally that's a bit much for me. I like to stay in the hour 45, 2 hour range. This felt like 2:20 or so. I could look it up. I'm not going to bother. But it was right. When I think about the individual scenes, nothing really feels out of place or like it overstayed its welcome. There's a lot of great moments, some good scares, not overly scary, the right amount. There's no real cheap, unearned scares either, and that's a big thing for me. There's no like boy walking around the corner, I'm just walking, I have my books, and boom, this loud noise comes out of nowhere. Kid drops his books, and it's like a cat. For some reason, the cat made like the loudest noise on the planet, though, just like fuck you, cat. Cats don't make that noise. Cats are quiet creatures, although they do scare me. We have a couple cats, and I'll be in bed watching TV, the door will be mostly closed, like 95% closed, and then out of nowhere, and then the door swings way open. It's just one of the stupid cats, Ginny or Hermione, walking in. Super 8, that's another movie I really enjoyed. Not so much because of the creature or anything, just because I like the kids stuff, the hijinks, the fun adventures they get into, and that happens a lot here. You know, there is one scene in this entire flick that I did not care for, and it's also in the 90 series, and it's where it's a bathroom mess, and there's some blood. In the 90 version, there's blood in the sink, and this is in the trailer. It's not a spoiler, I don't think, but in this version, it's just like a shit show. The whole thing, it's like Dexter season 2 or whatever, when he walks in that room and there's just blood everywhere from ceiling to floor, and the kids go in, they're going, okay, well, nobody else can see this but us, but I feel like we should clean this up anyways. And there's a fun little cleaning montage. There's no fucking way any kid's gonna go in there and go, we need to clean this up. First off, blood is tough as shit to clean up. Believe me, I know. Secondly, as an adult and a clean person, I'd go in that room and say, pass. Hard pass. Once again, these are minor hang-ups. I'm just giving you the pros and the cons the best I can. I really like this. There's no question in my mind. It's a great movie. It's full of everything I like in a film. It kept me engaged throughout the whole picture. I instantly got a connection to these characters, the brotherly love, the fun kind of rivalries, pining for the girl's affection. It's all there. It's all handled well. The kids acting is fantastic. The direction's superb. There's really nothing left to say other than if you like scary movies, or hell, even if you don't like scary movies, if you like kids being kids adventures, I think you're going to find something here. I brought back the grading system for my Baywatch review, although it's pretty tongue-in-cheek. I don't really believe in grades because I tend to rate things high and then drop over time, or sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes I think about the movie and I was like, you know what? I was really harsh on this before, but after rewatching, it's gone up. I've done that with a few movies. Austin Powers, the first time I saw that, I thought, this wasn't great. But then after rewatching, I was like, holy shit, this is one of the best comedies ever. And I've since watched it like 20 times. I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10. But I could easily see how perfect scores would be handed out for this, especially if you are really into this type of movie. The only thing that keeps it from the perfect score for me is generally I keep those to movies that really do something out of the box or aren't so conventional. Like, this still is very much like a really well-made horror film, but it's not like The Lord of the Rings or The Matrix or Jurassic Park or something that really wows you to the point. Even Mad Max, I think I gave a 10 out of 10 because that was just so unique. And this is just so well made. So there you have it. Thanks for watching the video. Feel free to check me out on social media platforms for credibility purposes. Intern Sheila should be putting up some graphics for you to digest, I believe. Otherwise, you'll be out on the curb like your mom. Gotta move on. You can also check me out on patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. Throw me a buck or two if you want. I run this channel alone. It's almost a full-time job, honestly. Thanks for your time. Sheila, the graphics, now.